Hey everybody, it's Josh from CollectionDX.com, and I've got a special treat for you. Today we are taking an advanced look at ThreeZero's Titanfall Atlas. This guy is enormous, so big that I cannot fit him in my light tent. So we are taking him out, putting him on the desk, and checking him out. So, as you can see, he is massive. Massively huge and detailed like nobody's business. Just check this guy out. He is nuts. We're gonna go through some of the articulation, gimmicks, etc. But keep in mind that this is a pre-production sample, meaning that things may change between now and its release. So this is really just to get you an idea of what you could be seeing when you get your own ThreeZero Atlas at ThreeZeroStore.com. Alright, so let's start with the ground up, because there's a lot of ground to cover. So you can see the feet here, very detailed. These toes go side to side, tilt forward and out, which is pretty cool. Both toes do that. You come around here to the back. Each of these is articulated. This panel moves, this panel moves, this panel moves, this panel moves. So it's pretty nuts right there. The ankles have pistons in them. I'm not able to see that too well. Notice that the top of the piston has come out. There's actually a little sheet of paper in the box that said, be careful that these things don't overextend or they will pop out. So it seems like an issue that they know about. It might just be on the pre-production sample that they do this. So just something to think about. There's also front pistons, so all the pistons move. Plus there's a ball joint underneath in here that has a full range of motion, so it clicks along this axis and rotates freely. Get a sense of the articulation here. Moves around a lot. It's good. You also have a double knee joint here, so one joint in here, one joint in here. So move it there, and you can also move it like so. So it's a little challenging sometimes to find just that right pose, but when you get it, it's pretty solid. The hands are also pretty remarkable. You've got a nice ball joint there, but each little joint is articulated and highly detailed. You also notice that part of this arm here, well, most of this thing is hard plastic. This covering is rubber. So this is just for flexibility's sake, so you can do some cool things with it. But yeah, rubber. Moving up a little bit, we have I'll get you in there a little better. The elbow joint, which clicks, a severe click. It's kind of hard, but it also rotates that way, and this rotates, and this rotates. So it's got a double range of motion. So we can go down to the hip area now. You can see there are cloth bags here with these little storage pouches. You have all these flaps that are movable all over the place, which are very cool. And so I can get in, and then they're here, so you can see the internal mechanism. What's really cool is, check this out. These are like hollow rubber tubes, actual rubber tubes, with working pistons back here. So when you move it around, they're actually using those pistons, which is a very, very sweet thing, I have to admit. I love all the little details, like what says, you know, lift here. There's all kinds of cautions. These move up and down. These move around like that. So there's tabs all over this guy, and they are quite awesome. Moving up to, let's go to the back. So the back has these thrusters back here. These don't really do anything. They're just really decorative. Here's a battery panel. So you remove this, and there's 2 AAA batteries to go in here. And here's the 3-position light switch. You basically have a blue, a red, and an off. So depending which way you put it is how you determine the color of the light. One thing I did notice with this guy, because he wasn't packaged in retail packaging, he was kind of wrapped in bubble wrap and sent to me, is that this antenna was bent over. I'm sure when you get it in retail it'll be like that, and I'm sure with a little heat I can make it go back, but this is just because it was kind of wrapped tightly with bubble wrap, so that's why mine is a little bent. I'm sure it will straighten out eventually. So you can see right now I have him on his blue mode. I don't play Titanfall. I've watched my kids play it. It's very cool. So I don't know a lot about what, aside from what I've watched. You know, it's a shooty game, and I'm not too shooty, but I love the design of this guy. You can see he has the full positionable ball visor. This one moves, but it also just comes out. So I think it's not supposed to come out, but it can move a little bit if you wanted it to. You have the hatch that opens here, and there's lighting internally there. And there's also a little lighting that comes out of the corner of the hatch. Lighting that comes out over here and over here. Speaking of the hatch, it opens up. Reveal a cockpit. Oh, sorry. It's a little loose. This door's a little loose on mine. Once again, maybe something that's a pre-production thing. But you can see inside pretty well. It's nicely detailed and weathered. There is a figure that comes with it that's supposed to go in here, and it doesn't. Well, it does, but I'll get into that. But the door is nicely detailed. Railings and such, and little panels and pistons and things. It's very cool. What else can we talk about? Oh yeah, the gun. It comes with a rather large gun. This is the rather large gun, and it's really nicely done. There is an additional gun that comes with it if you pre-order it through the ThreeZero store. I think it's called an Art Cannon. This is the XO16 chain gun. So it has movable stands. What's kind of weird about it is that these two move, and you would have movable base pads, but this one does not move. So interesting. It has the looks like the ammo barrel, and what's cool about this is it opens up, and you can actually, you know, remove that if you wanted to. Which is pretty cool. Some really nice detailing on the gun. And here and everything, all the paint detail. It's very nice. As you can see, he holds the gun very well. This guy is just totally badass. Love it. Love it. It's enormous. What I don't love so much is the pilot. And here is the pilot figure. It's a 1/12 scale, so it's 6 inches tall, and it's a it's a full interior posable body covered in a fabric jumpsuit with all kinds of armor bits attached to him, and very nicely detailed little figure. I've never had a 3A 1/12 scale figure, sorry, ThreeZero, but it has all the hallmarks that we've come to expect. You know, nicely detailed pouches and straps, etc. There are some problems with the figure, though. One is that, and this isn't really a problem. I think this is just something that, you know, I guess collectors of this sort of thing are used to, but I am not. Is that it's very hard to keep all these little bits in position. You know, like they just go all over the place. and they get out of whack really easy, and you know, nothing is like super secure. You know, that just moves around all, like, I don't know if it's supposed to be up here, up there, whatever. So that's one thing. The cloth does inhibit movement a fair amount. Like, really, that's what you're gonna get out of the leg. Which is, I mean, it's still good, but it's not great. You know, the arms, you got some good motion. But here's the tragic flaw of this figure, is that these hands, they just pop off so easily. You know, it's so hard to get this guy into a pose. Oh, look, see, his hand popped off again. See, and imagine that, you know, all day long. The hand also isn't really tight enough to hold the gun that well, and really what you're left with is just something of a mess. You can eventually get it, but see what we're getting at here. Feet have the same problem. They just come right out, and they're just very tiny holes that just pop on and off way too easily. So that's a bit annoying. But the biggest annoyance is this head comes off. Just, there's like no friction here. And once again, could be pre-production. You know, I'm willing to give them that. You know, I don't know. So I'm a little frustrated with the experience with this figure, not the Titan. The Titan is awesome, and the Titan's worth the purchase price alone. So if you know, who really cares so much about this guy? Another problem with him, though, is that he is next to impossible to actually sit in the cockpit. There is a picture on the website of him sitting in the cockpit, and you try to get him in there and get him into a pose, and you can see what's going on here is he doesn't really want to do this much, and this giant thing gets in the way of him sitting down, and this doesn't come off. So you end up getting him in, and oh, look at that, his head comes off, and then you're wedging him around, and oh, the hand comes off, and then you're trying to get your foot in a position, and oh, the foot comes off, and then you're just like, I'm done. Really annoying. I think if you were going to do a pilot figure that sits in the vehicle, I would have much preferred a solid articulated figure, like a Marvel Legends style design, you know, something that I had more security in posing and such, to be able to get that accurately in there. I'll show you a picture of it in the written review, because I am not doing that again. I literally had to jam it in there and put the head in through the hatch at the top and just sort of rest it, because everything just popped off during its posing. So that's that. But I mean, you can, you know, like the Titanfall mechs are want to do. You can kind of pose him on the shoulders of the Titan. I mean, we'll do that. We'll show that so you can see how that looks. You can see here, getting him on top of the Titan is very cool. There are numerous handholds, you know, all over the place. But once again, the problem is that the hands, you know, come off really easily. So while you can do as advertised, it just can be difficult sometimes to get the pose you want. But it still looks good. I'm sorry, it looks good. Oh, another thing I want to mention is that, you know, I do know that to destroy a Titan you have to shoot out its core. And there is a little core thing here, and it rotates. It does not come out, but I talked to ThreeZero, and they said that in the final version this panel will come off and show exposed machinery, so you can basically disable your Titan as you will. So that's pretty much it. It's gonna retail $430 US. That is a lot of cookie, but I mean, this thing is gigantic. It's just such a beast. Easily one of the most detailed and biggest items in my collection at this point. So
if you got the cake, man, it's worth it. It's an amazing piece. It'll be the centerpiece of your game room, your action figure collection, your giant robot collection. It is just a monster that is really great. So yeah, he's shipping fourth quarter of 2014. You can get him at the ThreeZeroStore.com, and this is the Titanfall Atlas. And I am Josh from CollectionDX. Thanks for watching.